first we are going to be doing the Shaw versus Reno case. So the background for this case was that during the Civil War, the 13th through 15th Amendments effectively ended slavery, or should have, and gave enslaved African American men the right to vote. But the southern states pushed against this and created Jim Crow laws, which required taxes and literacy tests in order to vote. The problems that led to this case were that North Carolina's residents claimed the 1990 redistricting plan of its citizens was discriminatory towards certain races and raised a constitutional issue under the 14th Amendment. The plaintiff in this case was Shaw, who said that the Constitution is colorblind, meaning that it prohibits using race as the basis for how to redraw district lines. He notes that this amounts to an unconstitutional discrimination based on the basis of race. Redrawing districts on the basis of race advances the stereotype that black voters will only vote for a black candidate and vice versa for white people. He said that the minority voters have many different views and interests and don't always have the same candidate of choice. So the defendant in this case is Reno, who said that the courts had ruled the use of race in redistricting is okay and it can be more important than traditional redistricting features as long as it is not too extreme. He says that the oddly shaped districts are necessary to elect representatives who reflect the citizens that live there. He uses the Voting Rights Act of 1965 in order to back his thoughts, saying that the acts encourage the creation of districts with a majority of various minority groups, especially where there has been voting discrimination in the past. So, why did this case go to the Supreme Court? So the case was a landmark court case in the area of redistricting and racial gerrymandering and making it a court precedent in the future. Why did the court agree to hear this? Again, it was going to be a precedent for the future, and that's why it went all the way to the Supreme Court. So the constitutional question raised by the participants in this case was that the redistricting based on race must be held to a standard of strict scrutiny under the Equal Protection Law, because we can't be discriminating against people. So the court's decision was that they favored Shaw, and sent this case to a lower court to be retried. They decided this way because they thought that the plan to redistrict could not rationally be understood as anything other than an effort to divide voters based on race, and that voters are allowed to challenge a district under the Equal Protection Law. The actual vote count was 5-4, 5 being Shaw. So the dissenting opinion in this case argued that the consideration of race in the districting process was inevitable and it does not violate the Constitution unless a party challenging a district shows that the district was drawn in such a way that deprives a racial group of an equal opportunity to participate in political processes. They also argued that there's a legitimate reason to consider race because people of the same race typically share the same opinion. So again, the case significance was that it was set a precedent for racial gerrymandering, and again, it was a precedent. So that's why it had a large impact on America. And I think it was fairly subtle because the solution came directly from the Constitution and the laws that we follow today.